From downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Open for business, 16 Mile in Sterling Heights could soon look like 8 Mile in Detroit.
Reviving regional transit. The Wayne County executive hinting at a new plan for Southeast Michigan.
But we're going to begin tonight with a conversation many students and parents are having this evening about gun violence in schools.
Tomorrow morning, students across the country are planning a 17-minute walkout. That's 1 minute for each victim gunned down last month at a high school in Parkland, Florida.
Mara McDonald live downtown tonight. Mara, different districts have different rules about the way they're going to handle this tomorrow.
Devin, they sure do. For example, this is Cass Tech, and here the parents as well as administrators have decided that they were going to walk out as well, supervise what happens here. Other Detroit high schools are talking about marching all the way to the Spirit of Detroit. Other districts say, okay, participate, that's fine, but you need to stay on school property. Still others say, okay, participate, but I want you to stay inside the building. And the reality is, we don't know how many students are actually going to participate in this because really, it's all on them.
The group behind the walkout is the Women's March Youth Empower movement. Now, every school district is aware of its online campaign, and response to it has really varied. For example, Las Cruz East Middle School sent a letter home to parents telling them they've decided on a We Walk Up, Not Out challenge, asking students to, instead of walking out, walk up to students they don't know, students whose views are different, and engage each other. The editorial board at Grosse Pointe North's high school paper says it won't be walking out because of how this has been handled by the administration. Here at Cass Tech, both parents and administrators are ready.
They have already planned it out, and they're already parents that's going to be here and everything to walk with the kids so that they keep them in line.
In other words, no scamming out of class thinking you'll be able to hang out off campus.
They probably will guide them, keep them not to go to Burger King or somewhere to eat.
Some students are very earnest about tomorrow's planned walkout. They say the tragedy at Parkland has spurred debate.
I talk to my peers every day about these certain situations, and we actually feel that lawmakers need to make a decision on if they are going to let teachers be armed inside school, or are they going to say no.
Back here live, talking to Jalen brings up the second issue here. Why are students opting to walk out if they do walk out? Now, you talk to any of these kids and they have their own reasons. Some want to walk out to honor those students who were killed in Parkland. Some want to see the Second Amendment repealed. Some think there needs to be some form of gun control. So there are a variety of different reasons for participation. Devin, Kimberly, back to you.
We'll be watching what happens, Mara, and Local 4 will bring you live coverage of the walkouts from across Metro Detroit on air and online. You can also learn more about tomorrow's march at clickondetroit.com/walkout.
All right, now breaking news just in from Whitmore Lake Public Schools, where classes are canceled tomorrow because of a threat that came in after school ended today. The superintendent says police were notified right away, and we understand tonight people are in custody. They will not say whether they are students because the case is still considered active. However, school canceled for tomorrow. Palmer Park Academy is closed again tomorrow and for the foreseeable future as the school addresses possible health concerns caused by water damage. The concern is that a water leak could lead to mold. The district is currently working on a plan for relocating all students to other Detroit schools for the rest of the school year. So parents right now invited to attend a meeting at the school that will happen tomorrow afternoon at 5:30 p.m. to discuss these changes.
A corruption investigation involving the UAW is expanding. Keith Mickens, a former senior UAW official, is the fifth person charged in the scandal. He's accused of buying luggage, electronics, designer clothes, and golf equipment with money that was supposed to help train Fiat Chrysler workers. The scandal has led to 4 convictions so far.
Sterling Heights could be the newest home to medical marijuana dispensaries. The mayor is considering opening the door, hoping to cut down on another problem in the city. Jermont Terry live with how residents are reacting to that. Jermont.
Devin, right now there are no medical marijuana dispensaries operating within the city limits of Sterling Heights. But as you mentioned, they could soon pop up here along 16 Mile and Van Dyke and other areas because the city is entertaining that idea. And residents just want to make sure that they have clear guidelines. The floodgates for medical marijuana in Michigan have been open for some time, and now Sterling Heights believes it's time to get in on the dispensary business.
Fine with me, really. I think it would reduce the illegal activity.
Mayor Michael Taylor tells me Sterling Heights has become a hotbed for illegal grow operations.
Anywhere that we have houses is where the grow operations are.
And the complaints are rampant.
We've got hundreds, if not over 1,000 grow operations in our neighborhoods.
He believes giving the green light for these green light marijuana dispensaries will curb the illegal growers.
If we opt in, there's certainly going to be a limit. We're not going to just have a free-for-all, and there's going to have to be very strict guidelines.
Some fear once Sterling Heights embraces the medical dispensaries, you could easily see the influx like along 8 Mile in Detroit, a saturated market.
That's why Detroit's shutting down all their dispensaries.
That could happen, but I think when you have them controlled and you don't have one on every single corner, you know, and like I said, you have some guidelines.
Guidelines will be a must, according to the mayor, but could this also become a big tax revenue?
It's not a matter of doing this so that we can generate revenue. There are thousands of Sterling Heights residents who are patients, and they should be able to get that medicine in the easiest and safest way possible.
So tonight, where exactly do we stand with this consideration? We should point out that the city of Sterling Heights is in the very infancy stage of considering this. Right now, they don't even have an ordinance outlined or written up about this yet. So to be continued. For now, reporting live in Sterling Heights, Jermont Terry, Local 4.
All right, Jermont. Wayne County Executive Warren Evans is not ready to give up on regional transit yet.
In his annual State of the County address, Evans says efficient regional transportation should not be ignored.
The benefits of transit impact us all. There's no national debate over public transportation, only a southeastern Michigan debate. So why do we continue to ignore it? Not taking action.
Evans will present his plan to the Regional Transit Authority later this week. You might remember in 2016, voters rejected an RTA millage.
Investigators at the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office are processing the last batch of the more than 11,000 rape kits discovered at an abandoned police facility back in 2009. The final 614 kits have now been sent to labs for testing. Since the kits were discovered, Prosecutor Kim Worthy has fought to get funding to process them. But since that investigation began, 130 people have been convicted and 833 serial sex offenders have been identified.
Incredible. Yeah. Police say the van used in an overnight smash and grab is connected to a robbery that happened last week. This morning's robbery happened at Mark's Liquor Store on Detroit's west side. Police say the van used was stolen during another robbery at a dry cleaner's this past Friday. Police are trying to figure out if this smash and grab is related to a string of robberies involving trucks. No arrests so far have been made.
A bizarre carjacking leads to a high-speed chase in East Point. Police say a man armed with a handgun approached a woman and demanded her car. She tried to defend herself and threw hot coffee on the man, but he still got away with the car. Police, though, quickly caught up to him as he dodged through traffic. They arrested him after a foot chase. He's facing a number of charges. Police believe he may be connected to other carjackings as well.
A federal appeals court upholds most of the Texas law that cracks down on sanctuary cities. The ruling allows Texas to enforce what critics call one of the toughest immigration measures. The law will allow officers to ask people during routine stops if they're here legally. It will also threaten officers with jail time if they do not cooperate with federal immigration authorities. The only part removed was a portion prohibiting officials from endorsing policies that limit immigration enforcement. A warning tonight about a popular product sold on Amazon, why the company is recalling 250,000 portable chargers.
Also not one, but two high-speed chases by the same teenager. We'll have more on how this wild ride ends. Ben.
Devin, temperatures even colder tomorrow morning than what we went through less than 24 hours ago. We'll officially be at 20, but these are going to be some of the coldest numbers that we've seen in a month. And we're not done with the snow just yet. More on that ahead.
How one local teen's act of kindness led to a big surprise. I'm Sandra Ali. That story coming up.
Is your morning routine sabotaging your weight loss goals? I'm Dr. Frank McGeorge. Tomorrow at 6 a.m., see the morning habits that can help or hurt your ability to slim down.
March is
You inspired me to be the person I want to be.
A simple thank you leads to a big surprise.
I'm that one weird person who still does everything the old-fashioned way.
Well, it all all started with a note from a local teen who happens to be an aspiring astronaut.
And as our Sandra Ali explains, what happened next was kind of an out-of-this-world experience.
It all started when 16-year-old Jessica Middleton heard a presentation at the Detroit Science Center given by NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy. And that's where this story begins.
Dear Captain Christopher Cassidy, you probably don't remember, but a few years ago you gave a lecture at the Detroit Science Center.
Jessica Middleton was so inspired, the 16-year-old sent Chris Cassidy this heartfelt note, a letter she mailed to the Johnson Space Center in Houston as a way to thank him.
Looking back, that was the night I became inspired to never give up on my dreams. It's been a little over 3 years, and I've never forgotten that feeling. Thank you.
Hi. Hi. How are you?
Good. Chris's brother runs a nonprofit called Spread Positivity. The Cassidy brothers got to work coming up with a way to show Jessica how much her note truly meant. So they reached out to Jessica's family.
I know it just means so much to her. She's such a good kid. She always does the right thing. She gets good grades.
Welcome.
With the help of Jessica's parents, school administrators at Walled Lake Central, along with Jessica's teacher, they coordinated a call from Chris into the classroom and managed to keep it all a secret.
Sorry to interrupt your class, but Jessica, we're here for you. We love to hear good stories about people doing kind and thoughtful things. We saw an amazing thank you note that you wrote not too long ago. So that person wanted to say hello.
I'm astronaut Chris Cassidy. How are you guys doing there?
Chris wanted to tell Jessica how much her thank you note meant to him.
I appreciated you very much taking your time to write that note.
And surprise her with a trip to Houston and a personal tour of the Johnson Space Center.
You're flying to Houston, Texas, where I'll give you a personal tour of the Johnson Space Center tomorrow morning.
The trip all paid for by an anonymous donor.
I'm so shell-shocked. It's absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to meet him again and tour the facility and just have this opportunity. It's absolutely incredible.
Jessica's mom had already packed their bags. They left school Wednesday and headed for the airport that same afternoon.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
So nice to meet you.
Thursday morning, Chris met Jessica.
Those are actually real spacesuits.
First, he took her to the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, a 6 million gallon pool with a submerged space station model used for training.
It's amazing how close this replicates a real spacewalk.
Next, they were off to fly with the help of a robot that simulates reduced gravity.
Here's a hard hat for you. Let's go ahead and toggle to velocity control.
Just put that on there like that, and then connect the electrical. So here you go, it's all yours. We're at the front of the space station.
Then she went to check out a model of the International Space Station where astronauts train.
These are the sleeping quarters.
And finally, they capped it all off with a look at NASA's mission control for the International Space Station. A perfect ending for this aspiring astronaut.
Are you in space?
I'm in space.
There you go, you got it.
Wow. This is awesome. And I feel like that's important, and today with how crazy the world's going, just take time and let someone know that they matter, no matter how big or small it could be.
I like to do things that are meaningful to me, and this was something that I was really touched by. I wanted to give back to her as well as saying thank you, but also a way to let people know, hey, this is important. It's important in life to be nice to others, to treat people fairly, to treat people like you want to be treated.
Chris said if you're going to fly in space, you really need to be a good person. So Jessica has all the makings, he said, to become an awesome astronaut.
I'm sure that's going to make a huge impact on her life.
What a cool experience.
So cool. We're going to hear from that young lady again.
I think so too. Yeah, exactly. Here's a look at what Defender Kevin Dietz is working on for tomorrow night.
Violent street gangs so bold they shoot their victims and don't even bother to flee the scene. Now an undercover agent is speaking out.
We were told this was the most violent gang in Northwest Detroit. You know, go do your job and find a way to take them down.
Innocent men, women, and children being attacked, robbed, even shot by criminals who are not afraid of the police.
Their propensity for violence was just so extreme that it warranted the federal government to get involved with us.
See what federal officials are doing to put a stop to it inside the ATF tomorrow night at 11.
Just a little bit more snowfall tonight, just enough to kind of put a glaze on things.
Come on, Ed.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
You know, on the way home last night, I saw probably about half a dozen wrecks within a span of 2 miles where that squall went.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It puts down that thin coating.
Just enough, right?
Yeah, and then everything just gets slick and icy, and that's what we've got right now on 4 Live Radar. These snow squalls really not going to last very long, and they're not packing a whole lot as far as accumulation goes, but you can see those dark colors in the middle of those cells. It comes down at a rate enough to just sort of coat the ground, and that's about it. You're looking right now at those snow squalls coming down Woodward, and again, they're moving pretty quickly. And you look up here to the north, there's even more up here in Lapeer County, so we've still got a ways to go. It's probably going to be closer to about 2 o'clock in the morning before we finally get things wrapped up. Beautiful shot here of the Blue Water Bridge. This was from earlier today, but look at the size of those flakes coming down, and we are in mid-March, folks, and it is still looking like midwinter, but the days are numbered on the season. Of course, spring gets started early next week. We don't have much to look at here on our side of the state except just a couple of those squalls. They're very faint here on the bigger picture, and once we get towards tomorrow morning, by the way, you already saw the clouds starting to clear, and that's a signal that temperatures are really going to start to drop here before too long. 25 right now in Howell, 26 in Pontiac. Metro's at 27. Already compared to the 11 p.m. numbers yesterday, we're about 3 degrees cooler. And as we said at the break, this is going to be the coldest night that we've seen in almost a month. You got to go back to mid-February to find temperatures that got into the teens in most spots. So here's how the rest of tonight plays out. We see these snow showers fade, clouds start to break, and even though it's going to be cold in the morning, at least we're going to see the sun, and we do not have to worry about the snow during the day. Nighttime hours a little bit different. There may just be a rogue snow shower overnight, but nothing like what we've gone through in the last couple of days. So both the morning and the afternoon commutes snow-free, and we don't have to worry about 2 hands on the wheel and white knuckling it all the way home. Metro Zone tonight, 22. Do put 2 hands on the wheel. Just don't be so nervous about it. 22 in the city, 20 officially at Romulus. But look at how many spots are going to be in the teens for overnight lows. Out there in Lenawee County, 19 in Onstead and Adrian, 20 out closer to Lake Erie. West Zone, mostly upper teens here for tomorrow morning's lows. And same goes for our North Zone tomorrow, except in some of those areas where those clouds and snow showers hang on just a little bit longer. That'll keep temperatures slightly elevated into the low 20s. Otherwise, high temperatures tomorrow hit 37, and we're still about 10 degrees below average on the high side, and it's going to take the weekend to get those numbers up there. 47 with sunshine on Sunday. Most of that forecast is sun-filled all the way into the start of spring.
Most of it.
Yeah, you know, it's been a rough ride here.
Isn't it, though?
We need that.
There, you're right. Coming up, adult film star Stormy Daniels will not be in Detroit now tomorrow. We'll tell you why she's canceled her trip just hours before her visit.
And first, a teen leads police on a chase driving more than twice the speed limit. See how this finally ends. Coming up next.
A 17-year-old leads police on 2 separate chases in Atlanta. Police say he was driving 95 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone when they attempted to pull him over, but he kept going. Police then say they lost him, but then found him again. And that chase ended when he crashed into another vehicle. After a quick foot chase, police finally captured him. He is facing a slew of charges, including speeding and, of course, as you might expect, reckless driving.
All right, we have a Help Me Hank recall to tell you about tonight regarding Amazon portable chargers. Amazon is recalling about 260,000 of its Amazon Basic portable power banks. The company says the chargers can overheat and ignite, resulting in chemical burns and property damage. The chargers were sold between December 2014 and July of 2017. Consumers should immediately unplug and stop using the devices. We have a full list of affected devices on our website at clickondetroit.com.
Adult film actress Stormy Daniels is postponing an appearance at the Truth Gentlemen's Club in Detroit. She was set to appear at the club tomorrow, but she's had to cancel due to a case of strep throat. She may possibly appear later this month after she feels better.